Hi everyone, welcome back to the Caistrology channel, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Cailin, and today we're going to be looking at your December 2025 horoscopes. I am filming this while Mercury is retrograde conjunct Mars, so please bear with me. I'm a double Mercury-ruled person, so these ones always hit me pretty hard. In any case, today we're going to be looking at the full moon in Gemini, the new moon in Sagittarius, and of course we've got Mars in Sagittarius making a square with Saturn in Pisces and then Neptune in Pisces. So you can watch your horoscope for your ascendant, sun and moon sign. I do recommend that you watch all three if you have the time. If you've only got time to watch one horoscope, then I would start off with your ascendant, also known as your rising sign horoscope. So in other news, I'm on Instagram and Facebook, so you can follow me at Caistrology. If you're wanting to book a private one-on-one reading, you can do so via caistrology.com. All the links are below. So without further ado, let's just get straight into your December horoscope. Hi Virgo Sun, Moon and Risings, welcome to your December 2025 horoscope. As the month begins, we are going to see Venus entering the sign of Sagittarius. So Venus will be transiting your fourth house, which relates to your family, your property, your living situation, as well as your deep-seated emotions. So whichever house Venus transits, she can really bring some sort of benefit or enjoyment to that house. So this could indicate spending some time with family. Maybe you'll be entertaining at your home, redecorating, or there may just be like important plans that you are making for your property and your living situation. Don't forget Mars is also here, transiting your fourth house, and the sun too is transiting your fourth house as we enter December. So Venus going through your fourth house could see you hanging out with family members, maybe having parties or gatherings at your place, or even just like dinner parties or social gatherings, and they're really like within the home or a home environment. So that could even be your family home, like your parents' family home, or just catching up with family is a big thing. And even if it's not to celebrate, it could just be receiving support or love from a family member and moving along. On the 5th of December, or the 4th, depending where you live in the world, we're going to see a full moon taking place in Gemini at 13 degrees, and this will be in your 10th house. So I've just got the chart up here on the screen. You can see that the moon is in a wide opposition to Venus in Sagittarius, as well as Mars in Sagittarius, and it's actually making a perfect square to the nodes, right? So south node in Virgo and the north node in Pisces. So a full moon in general can represent a period of illumination, realization, epiphanies. Sometimes there can even be some sort of cause for celebration. And of course, it can represent completion, like seeing the results of something or the culmination of something. So having a full moon in your 10th house could indicate that on a work level, there could be some kind of closing out of a chapter here. So I'll give you a few different ways that this can play out. For some of you, it could be time to walk away from a job or from a career, maybe even retiring altogether or deciding to take an extended break. For others of you, this could be that you are, or this could indicate, let's say, that you are completing out an important work, task, project, or responsibility. So again, this is around the first week of first week of December. And for others of you, there may be some kind of shift in your public status, in your public reputation. It doesn't necessarily need to be status pertaining to work. That's very possible, especially if you are a Gemini sun. But it could even be a relationship status change, especially if you're a Gemini rising or you're a Gemini moon. And when I say status, I mean the official status of something. So that can be work, relationship, property ownership, or, to do with like a rental contract, and even like government status somehow, or the legal status of a situation. Okay, so there could be some sort of defining event or moment that occurs in the first maybe 2 weeks of December. To be fair, full moon energy can be felt 1 to 2 weeks before and 1 to 2 weeks after the full moon, so we don't need to pigeonhole it to any particular date. And on a different note, this could simply be a period of illumination for you, where it's like you understand something deeper about your path in life, your trajectory, why certain things are unfolding the way that they are unfolding. And perhaps this could be like a moment of recalibration for you. And I'm not going to lie, it could be quite abrupt, because 13 degrees is the Aries degree. So there could be something fast-paced or even harsh about this full moon and what's coming through here. And the opposite, excuse me, and the opposition to Venus and Mars in your 4th house indicate that this could impact you at home, with your family, with your significant other, and maybe even just the goings on of your family dynamics, or even just, I guess, your property plans, like plans for the future about family, maybe relocating, or what you were hoping to achieve with your living situation. Okay, so we're really pulling on the 4 corners or the 4 angles, let's say, of your chart, because it's the 1st house and the 7th house being activated by the nodes, the full moon in your 10th house right at the top of your chart, opposing Venus and Mars at the very bottom of your chart. So let's just move along. We can leave that there for now. On the 9th of December, we are going to see Mars in Sagittarius in your 4th house, squaring Saturn in Pisces in your 7th house at 25 degrees. Okay, so the Virgos who would be impacted the most would be those at about 25 degrees, or we can say 20, even all the way through to 29 degrees of Virgo. Doesn't mean no one else can be impacted, but that's like the strongest impact. Okay, so in any case, we're seeing this clash, if you will, between the 4th house and the 7th house. Now, squares don't have to be quote unquote negative, right? Squares are very necessary for setting and achieving goals, taking on challenges that can be physical challenges like working out, getting fit, getting healthy, and that can also be setting challenges for oneself in terms of work or creative projects. Okay, so in any case, this dynamic is playing out between your 4th house and your 7th house. So interestingly, it may not even involve you, so to speak, but there could be something going on at home, potentially between your significant other and your children, okay, whether that's a current partner or a former partner. Maybe there is some kind of pressure when it comes to your living situation. That could be with a housemate potentially, or just the dynamics in general. There could be some tension there. But on a different note, this could be the motivation that's coming through to basically enact change as it relates to your living situation or your family situation. So maybe you're wanting to relocate, renovate, declutter, clear out, or perhaps make some significant changes to your current living situation. Okay, so on a different note, maybe you are exploring your ancestry and your lineage. And that would be seen through the fourth house. So Mars is like, I'm digging. I want to understand my heritage, where I've come from. And the square to Saturn could indicate conversations with people who are older than you. So Saturn ruling over time. It's like I'm talking to this person, this ancestor, my grandparent, father even, and trying to really build or construct something that is going to be useful in a practical way for yourself or for your family going forward. Even if I'm not giving specifics, let me just talk to you about the dynamics of this. So, and I'm a Virgo moon, by the way, just for context. There can be a feeling of tension in the home, maybe someone's temper just being at boiling point. There is the potential here to, after having repressed one's anger or frustration for a long time, have an outburst. It could be you, especially if you've got Sagittarius in your chart or Pisces in your chart, or maybe you are on the receiving end of that. So there does seem to be some kind of pressurized situation that you're dealing with, even if it's not you personally. It's just like, you know, maybe you have to fix something around the home, something breaks, and you're needing contractors to come in, or perhaps there's just some long-term plans that you're putting in place that will involve contracts or getting other people to agree to certain terms and conditions. And again, this can relate to your family or your living situation. Okay, so let's just move along. On the 12th of December, Mercury, which is your chart ruler, is going to re-enter the sign of Sagittarius. So now we could be revisiting conversations that were had sometime in late October through till even like 2.5 weeks into November. So perhaps this concerns conversations you'd had with family members, intentions that you had made relating to your living situation, and Mercury re-entering Sagittarius could indicate that you are talking to a certain family member once again. Also, because Mercury had spent time retrograde in Sagittarius / Scorpio, having Mercury go back into Sagittarius could see you actually having more clarity on plans that maybe seemed up in the air as it relates to family, who you live with, your living situation in general, and like your vision for your future about where do I want to live, what do we want to do with the house, and so on and so forth. So there could be some clarity that comes through basically between the 12th of December and even early January, because that's how long Mercury will spend in the sign of Sagittarius. Just remember that the post-shadow Mercury retrograde period will conclude on the 17th of December. So we might have to wait till after the 17th of December to be like, oh, okay, I can see a path forward. I can start to plan. There is this feeling that's coming through intuitively now of right before Christmas, I have more clarity on my living situation and I'm able to plan for the first quarter of 2026. Okay, so on the 14th of December, Mars in Sagittarius in your 4th house is going to square Neptune in Pisces in your 7th house. Okay, so Mars has finished its square with Saturn and now it's squaring Neptune. Obviously, this is only 5 days apart. So, but as you can see, Neptune is making a near perfect sextile to Uranus in Taurus, which I think is going to be quite helpful. But anyway, let's just unpack this for a moment. There could be some like curveballs thrown your way that relate to contracts, agreements, collaborations, business partnerships, etc. So just remember that Mars is all about taking action, and Neptune just can basically put a bit of a veil over things, or it can make it like sort of foggy, hazy, difficult to achieve one's goals and objectives. Saturn, the square to Saturn, which is still present, is like slowing things down, and Neptune is creating a sacred pause, a period of time where there is uncertainty. I do want to reiterate that Mercury re-entering Sagittarius does provide you with more information, and it's like, okay, I can plan, but things between December and mid-February seem like they're on pause. And the square from Mars to Neptune is indicative of I feel frustrated that there's a pause. I have all of these goals now. I have all of this energy, and I want to put it into my family. I want to put it into my house. I want to renovate. I want to relocate. I want to extend. I want to maybe work on projects around the house or projects with my family, or maybe an investment property, or working towards a move, which is maybe interstate, it's maybe international. And it's like, I've decided I want to do this, but I can't. Everything is just slowed right down. There's all this red tape. So there can be some frustration there where it's like, I don't know what to do with all of these goals that I'm clearer on now, because there's no place for me to funnel that. So the thing is, there is a place, and it's spiritual because it's Pisces. So that can be meditation, yoga, that can be anything to do with the divine, esoteric practices, and so on and so forth. A bit of a segue, I am actually going to be hosting an online manifestation workshop, and I've chosen the date of the Mars-Neptune square because Neptune rules over our dreams and our imagination, and Pisces is also connected to that as well. So it's like divine inspiration. So that's on the 13th of December or the 14th, depending where you live in the world. So it is time zone dependent. So let's just keep it moving, Virgo. So on the 15th of December, Mars is going to enter the sign of Capricorn, which means it will transit your 5th house. So it'll be there for several weeks. And ultimately, Mars is exalted in Capricorn, so it loves to be in Capricorn. It's very productive in Capricorn, which is absolutely a Virgo buzzword, productivity, right? And Mars will be trining you. So this is a relief actually for Virgos, because all of these like squares and oppositions with Mercury and Mars and Saturn and Neptune and even the Sun and Venus too, like that's a lot of pressure. So we're starting to get some more earth sign energy going on. Things will get easier from the 15th of December, promise. In some way, shape or form. It doesn't mean like all of our to-do lists just magically get done or what have you, but Mars going through the 5th house can indicate that you're being more proactive when it comes to dating, to putting yourself out there. If you are in a relationship already, then this can see there being more romance, maybe not romance, more spice, more spice in the bedroom or in whichever department. And, there could be someone who enters your life and you have a lot of fun together, or you and your significant other could be taking on goals, taking on challenges. Relationships aside, this could indicate maybe wanting to start trying for a family or expanding your family further. The fifth house also rules over entertainment, sports, owning your own business. So maybe you're looking at starting a new business or expanding your existing business further in some capacity. Mars going through the fifth house will see you being really assertive, really productive, and really cutthroat about your business. And it's like, okay, this isn't working, this isn't working, this is a time wasting exercise. I'm just going to cancel this, that, and the other. Maybe reducing the number of services, reducing the number of products that you're selling. Okay, just another way that can play out. And this can see you feeling quite competitive. So if you're a performer, if you're an athlete, if you are a politician, if you give public speeches, then Mars going through the fifth house can give you a lot of courage in that department and help you to perform at your peak. All right, so on the 20th of December, there will be a new moon in Sagittarius at 28 degrees in your fourth house. So again, we're seeing more fourth house activity. This is starting to get long in the tooth. This horoscope, it's going longer than I thought. So new moons in general are all about planting new seeds, setting intentions, and there being some kind of new kernel of a beginning, right? So new moon in the fourth house can indicate intentions or plans to buy, sell, invest property, relocate, maybe submit an application for a visa, citizenship, permanent residency. Why am I saying this? If you look at the new moon, it is squaring Saturn and also Neptune in Pisces. So that can indicate that there's some kind of government approval that is required, or something that will take you a long time. Whatever new beginning is occurring with this new moon in your fourth house, don't expect it to be done yesterday. It's going to take months. It could take longer than months. Could even be a year or two. But just observe what new beginnings are taking place. Maybe this is like you wanting to start a family, you wanting to expand your existing family further. Maybe there's a new chapter occurring in the life of one of your parents. Okay. Also, the new moon is conjunct Venus, so maybe this is moving in or talking about moving in with your significant other or with a woman, whether that's like a female housemate, a female friend, maybe a cousin or a sister, and maybe this will just be like an important purchase for your home, because the new moon is conjunct Venus. Venus rules over the second house, which is like material possessions. So new moon conjunct Venus to me is like wanting to beautify the home, maybe redecorate, get an interior designer come in, look at architecture or architectural design for something, maybe like landscaping. These are just a few different ideas. And once more, let's just say this could relate to your ancestry and lineage and trying to make sense of that. Okay, let's start winding down, shall we, Virgo? So on the 21st or 22nd of December, depending where you live in the world, the sun will enter the sign of Capricorn. So Capricorn season will begin. Then on the 24th or 25th of December, again, depending where you live in the world, Venus will enter Capricorn. So you'll have Mars, the Sun, Venus, all in your fifth house, trining you, thank God. And that will be, for pretty much the end of December. So the last week of December, that's helping you. So you can anticipate having more fun, experiencing more joy and improvement to your love life, relationships, etc., and having more energy to put into creative projects, your business or starting a business, and so on and so forth. So Virgo, thank you so much for watching your December horoscope. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And also, if you want to see more content from me, you can follow me on Instagram and or Facebook. Same handle, which is simply Caistrology. Enjoy the rest of the year, and I'll see you guys in 2026.